welcome back to this third and final hour of Hereticus. And so, when we last left our dear acolytes, they were deep in prayer. Sister Francesca on her own, and Accolon and Medea in a different chapel. So, what now, guys? You've returned to the Imperial fortifications on the Piety of Seth. You've done a lot of praying. Maybe that even takes days in some cases.
It will in Francesca's case. She will be praying for a day and a night straight.
Yeah.
And once that is done, she will seek solace in her own quarters through the mortification of the flesh. This is a pretty normal, standard thing for them to do.
Yep.
And
what?
Mortification of the flesh, meaning self-flagellation.
Why is that called modification? That sounds like I'm gonna murder myself. Wow.
That's what it's called.
Accolon's perfectly happy to help with that. He does have the pamphlets for it.
Yes, he is not. He's not getting anywhere near her in any state of undress.
No, that's not. No.
Okay, so Francesca is out of the picture at least for a day and a night, and then a bit more than that. What about Medea and Accolon? What do you guys do once you've finished praying?
We'll rifle through Tim's belongings and see what is useful to us for the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm. Well, so basically,
if you want.
Yeah, you can. Tim can provide a list of the swag.
Well, Medea's not leaving the place she was. What's it called?
You're staying
Praying?
in the chapel.
Okay, so Medea also stays in the chapel for quite a bit of time.
Okay, then I guess Accolon will just make sure that Tim's belongings are left in our care. That the local guard don't think try and default his equipment to the state, as it were.
I've actually been making a slight mistake here. I'm sorry, by the way. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No worries.
I have been looking at the wrong advancement tree. Whenever she's been introducing herself as an almoness, she would not actually have used that word because that's for the Hospitaller. So I'm sorry. She would have been calling herself an Elohim militant instead. I'm sorry. I just
no worries. We'll just assume
minor retcon. Going back here because I made boo boo.
No worries. It happens.
I made boo boo everywhere.
For instance, I added 850 meters to the radius of a large spherical chamber.
Fair enough.
Yes, I would say. Would we even be able to see a cube like that if it was a kilometer away?
Well, if the powers of the warp want you to see the thing, you can.
What the powers of the warp do or do not want me to see, quite frankly, is not in my best interest.
No, that's true.
Even if they do insist on forcing me to see these things, I mean, I should sue for psychic rape at this point.
Yes.
Anyway, so yes, I think Accolon, as I said, will only very quickly make sure that Tim's possessions are in our care, and then go back to Medea because he doesn't want to leave her alone for too long. And he will also make sure to bring small amounts of food and drink for the pair of them, because obviously they're not fasting unless Medea wants to fast. But
No, she's not eating or drinking.
Yeah. Well, so Accolon's being.
Since it's not actually quiet, you will realize that she is praying for the life of her rugrats.
Yeah, I think Accolon can get behind that. With Medea's permission, he might join in.
Sure. Well, she won't stop him. I don't really think she realizes he's there for most of the time.
No, I imagine. So, at some point, though, Lord General Legolas will approach one of you. Then being Accolon, because Accolon seems to be the one who he can actually approach and get some kind of
Yes.
sensible communication going with. So he'll do that. And he's basically asking you for a sit rep, a report of what happened up in the Abbey. He has some of it, of course, from his own men, but they were only there for some of it. And he'll need.
He also got some from Francesca, remember?
Yeah, that's also true. But unless she's going to spend hours doing it, there's going
She
to be
sent
some.
a fairly superficial.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm assuming at least that Akalon gives him a report.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Okay. And after that, it's really just up to you what you guys want to do, because the Lord General he's satisfied with what you've provided in terms of intel, and he basically leaves you to your own devices.
I think, again, Akalon being the only one that's not fasting in the chapel at this point, I think he's taken to... At this point, he'll have assumed that actually Medea is sort of okay on her own. I think he'll sort of take an inventory and check over all of the equipment we were able to recover from the Abbey. Just try and make sure everything's catalogued properly for our sake and for any official records that need to be made.
Okay, cool. So that is obviously going to take some time, but so eventually all of you, I take it all of you meet up at some point whenever you're done with your praying and self-flagellation and fasting and all that. That you do in the aftermath of what happened up in the Abbey. And what then?
Well, when that happens, Francesca will write up a complete report. Make sure that the general has a copy of it, considering that this included the destruction of the Abbey. He needs to know about that. Otherwise, I mean, it would have been on a need-to-know basis, but he does actually need to know about that one.
Mm-hmm.
She makes a more detailed report with the things that he doesn't need to see included.
Okay.
And she seals that away to be sent to the Tricorn once they get back on board ship. The point being, of course, that they were told to go here to look for for sedition, which they found and dealt with, and for the geometric thingamabob.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. At this point, I think after a year of having had dealt with these things, the Inquisition needs to come up with an official and dramatic-sounding name for these devices.
Yes, thingamabob.
Such a name actually exists. You just haven't been privy to that information yet.
Well, I hope that we are made privy to it soon, because it's all well and good. Because keep having to keep referring to them as geometric shape. It doesn't have quite the same. It sounds like I don't know. It sounds like we're not really in a game of Dark Heresy. It sounds like we're in some kind of weird 90s computer game.
Yeah, maybe you are. Who knows?
I know.
But yeah. What was that, Medea?
Let it be 8-bit.
Yeah.
Maybe. But anyway, so I think if Francesca is doing a detailed report, first thing Akalon will do once they meet up is to pass on his inventory to her and the written notes of the verbal report he gave to the general the day before, because those will probably those again. He took the inventory specifically for this purpose, so that for official records, and that's what Francesca's doing.
Yeah, cool. So, since Francesca, at this point, Akalon has a pretty detailed inventory list of the things you retrieved from the Abbey.
She will check it to see if there are any blessed weapons or armors in specifically, but make sure to check everything. None of this belongs to her order unless unless the orders to which it belonged have unless they basically present her with one of them. She will make certain that every last one of these things are returned to the order that they belong to.
Right.
It's not hers to expropriate.
No. And the Lord General has informed Sister Francesca that he, assuming that she'll let him, will deal with the logistics of handing all this over to the Adeptus Sororitas, because there's quite a lot of logistics going on there with shipping
there will
everything.
Be. There will be. This man has proven himself to be trustworthy, at least, so I have no problem with letting him do that.
Cool.
So yeah, that's actually she's good with letting him do that, and at that point she will find the others, and for a moment, she'll see if she can find the other two.
At this point, I think she can, wherever they are.
Well, I can't remember, Heine, out of character. I can't remember if we were told that there were more than one of these things on this planet. I
don't think you were given a number, but I do think the idea was for you to make sure that you got all of them if there were more than one.
Yeah. I think at this point we were told to start at the Abbey of St. Helena's Mount, but we weren't necessarily told where to go next.
No, and there are currently at this point, it's been a while since we played, so I'll just refresh everyone's memory. There are 2 locations of interest. Mm-hmm. There's the other major city on the this planet.
Yeah, the one that was still held by the
Yes,
the one that was still held by the rebels, right?
Exactly. And then there is when you were attacked, when the base or the fortifications were attacked by a rebel regiment, they came from where they'd previously been set up. And that is also a location of interest because there is there's storm hovering above that location, a storm of purple lightning and
warp storm, basically.
Something. Well, so they certainly don't hope it's an actual warp storm, but there are certain indications that it's not a natural storm in any event. So. So that's the thing. Those are the 2 major locations of interest for you at this point. Now that you've taken care of the Abbey.
Yeah. Basically, the first place we should go, in my opinion, is to the main city, because we need to restore order to the planet first at this point. We have one of these things in custody. Thereby we have denied the enemy access to at least one of these things. And as long as the rebels are holding Port Hadley, any form of offensive move into no man's land is going to potentially massively dangerous anyway. So I believe that the next thing we should do is to assist the Imperial Guard in the siege and capture of Port Hadley.
Indeed, you'll hear no argument from me.
We could potentially have gone out there to take a look at the storm-ravaged area. We even have, we have vehicles and so on at our disposal by now. But we are also a man down until we have received reinforcement. Going there could be foolhardy and lead to us actually losing the cube we have already recovered through our own deaths, and nobody would be served by that, least of all Inquisitor Dax.
I agree. So,
Medea, what do you think?
Sorry. What?
I'm saying that what we should do next is take part in the siege of the second largest city on Piety of Seth, rather than go out to where the warp storm or whatever it is located. Because as long as we're one person short, our numbers have dwindled. If we go out there and get killed, we're just handing back the cube that we've already secured.
Then wait.
Yeah. So, siege next.
Okay. So that's the plan then, is to go and see what's happening in Port Hadley. Visit some rebel guardsmen there. Okay. What I think we'll do then is we'll call it a night for this session.
Alright.
It'll be a relatively short session, of course.
Yeah, that's
But going to Port Hadley is going to be something we can't wrap up anyway within the next half hour. And it'll also give us a time to introduce our Tim's replacement before you leave these fortifications.
Yes.
So
yeah.
we'll do that, and then we'll be hopefully no longer a man short when next we play. So
We should be saying a man flat, but yeah.
a man flat. Indeed, indeed.
True.
But yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's the thinnest ever.
yes,
Probably yes.
yes,
Do
He could be a supermodel by now.
yes.
Do we in fact get any kind of experience?
Yeah, of course you do, because
Quite a bit happened today, let's face it.
quite a bit happened in 2.5 hours.
And I will make a note to have a conversation with her next time.
Yes, I would say I should very much like to have a conversation with Francesca at some point, role-playing wise.
Well, if you want, we can take that now.
I mean, that could be done now.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, we have sort of built up to wind down, as it were.
Yeah, that's...
So that's basically up to you guys. If you want to have that conversation with Sister Francesca now, I'm good with it.
I would certainly be fine with it.
Okay. So do you want to do yours first, Medea, or?
I mean, I'm assuming that you guys then come to find Francesca somewhere.
Not at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
Not ganging up on her.
No, but then who makes the first move? Who goes to seek out Sister Francesca first?
I think I shall.
Okay, cool.
So this is probably shortly after we've agreed we're going to head out to Port Hadley. So we'll still making preparations. Akalon will be helping sort of help look at. I imagine we're taking, if not taking the Chimera we've been issued, we might be taking the Immolator with us, or is that being
Isn't
being
the
held?
Chimera faster though?
No, actually, the Immolator would be swifter. It's based on a faster tank model.
Yes.
But it would, I suppose, they are not relics. So I could expropriate one of them, and some ordinary weaponry, replacement weaponry, and so on from that. I assume, Heine, you let me know.
Sure.
But I mean, all the relics would obviously have to go back to their parent order.
Of course. But either way, Akalon will take the time to find Francesca.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, he's probably going to find her where she's been finishing at least a part of the report.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a moment?
Of course, for you always.
Good to hear you say that. And he'll sit down nearby.
Why ever would I say anything else, though?
Well, that's the point I was going to make, is that I do owe you an apology. I acted emotionally in a way that compromised my ability to work in the team while we were out there. and I want to assure you that I will do my utmost not to let it happen again.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for the apology and for the reassurance. Secondly, you are only human. Akalon, as am I, as are all of us. You do not have the benefit of the years of conditioning that I've gone through, and it is equally wrong of me to expect you to act as one of my sisters would. In this particular situation, what you saw me do would probably have been, well, it is horrific for anyone to behold. I absolutely acknowledge that. I want you to understand one thing, however. There isn't a single sister of mine out there, regardless of orders, whether they are Sisters Militant or Hospitaller or Famulus or Dialogus. All of us, without fail and without exception, are willing to die from one moment to the next if it happens in the service of the God Emperor. No preparation required, so to say. So when I saw these Xenos, we'd already seen how much damage they could do to Tim. When there was only one or two of them, and there were 6 in there, I figured us being in a confined space like that, this was the only thing that could guarantee that they were wiped out, and at the same time give my sisters peace. Same reason why I reacted as I did to the Abbess's orders to destroy the entire abbey when we left.
Yes,
I understand that must have been horrific for someone to behold. I do.
Yes, I can only imagine how difficult it must have been for you to have had to follow that command of the Abbesses, regardless of the training you received.
It is without comparison the most difficult thing I have ever done. And I hope it will be years before I have to do something as difficult as that again.
Know that I grieve with you, Francesca. And I suppose that is the point I wanted to make as well. You say I haven't had the years of training. It's funny that, considering that of all of us I am most advanced in years, but the culture...
Training has been a different one, though.
Indeed. And the culture that once existed on this planet is one that I know some in the Imperium would frown upon. We celebrated pain, both physical and emotional, through flagellation, and
so do we.
Yes, and the point is that it is through pain and through grief that we express our devotion. That's how we've always done it. So
I am deeply saddened by Tim's death. I want you to understand that as well. He died for the God Emperor. That does not make grief any less for than that.
No.
He was not the friendliest of swords, but that was not his task, and his skills will be missed. He will be missed as a person. There's no question of that. We knew him as a comrade in arms, and we should feel sorry for feeling sad at the loss of a friend. Is one of the many things that sets us apart from the mindless beasts that we slaughtered by their thousands when they ran themselves ragged against our walls.
Of course.
Don't think I'm without emotion, because I can't show it when we're out there. Somebody has to be rocking that.
I don't. I won't lie. This past year and the things that working for the Inquisition has done to us. It has changed us, and
It certainly has.
yes, it's hard to think that when I first knew you, even for your training and your ability to think and act as a soldier you did have a sense of...
Naivete?
That wasn't quite the word I would use, but yes, I suppose so. And doing the things you have done has killed that innocence in you, but this is inevitable, I suppose.
I don't really think that that is a bad thing. I don't think that's I don't think that is for the worse.
No.
I am working for the Inquisition the same you are, and the Inquisition did not deal with gentility and softness and kindness and good things. Leave that to others. We are the things. We are the ones who push back against the things in the darkness.
Yes.
And the evil that encroaches upon us from all sides.
Yes.
I don't think it can come as much of a surprise to you by now that I do eventually hope to acquire the Inquisitorial Rosetta. That is much of much news to you.
No, and
I have been studying, as you also know, the various
doctrines.
Yes, that's the proper word for it. And
Yeah.
there are so far really only two that I'm finding any interest in. However, here's the thing. Lately, I have been reading up on the scriptures of the founder of my orders. All of the Adeptus Sororitas were, of course, founded by Thor. And I find myself increasingly in agreement with his teachings. I still believe that the monodominants have many of the right ideas. But they do have a few that cause me pause, concern.
Yes, I don't need to have, although I am not a telepath, I do not need to be one to know that you have been concerned by my interest in the Amalathian doctrine, although I think perhaps it is unfounded on the basis that I do not... While I agree with the need for unity between the various organizations of the Imperium, I emphatically repudiate the frankly dangerous notion that we must leave things to be and let the Emperor sort out these matters. What is the Inquisition for if not to be active in...
Indeed, exactly.
So
we need to be the ones who take action when others will not. If we simply lean back and await the inevitable solutions to all problems by the God Emperor, we are failing the God Emperor.
Exactly.
We are meant to do his work. We're not meant to be indolent and lazy. And that is something I have a severe problem with. Of course, I think it would be excellent if the various adeptus and various functions within the Imperium could work together better. Wouldn't that be lovely? But that in itself is not enough to salvage an otherwise dangerous ideology, in my opinion.
Well, the point being that I want to assuage your concerns with my interest in that doctrine, in that, no, to be honest, I am coming around to your way of thinking as well, because I also am glad to see that you are, as you said, even though you do see some benefits to monodominant philosophy, your early fascination with it, your almost zealous approval of it scared me, considering that I know you said I am human. I am not human. I am a psyker. I'm a mutant.
You are an abhuman.
Even so, monodominant Mutant philosophy dictates that one like me must be tolerated barely
Yes.
at best.
Indeed. And that is one of the problems, because I do understand that while I do not personally experience psychic phenomena, while I have no such understanding, and while I certainly do not wish to have, it doesn't change the fact that it is necessary to traverse the Imperium. It is necessary for the sustenance of the God Emperor. We are in many ways dependent on people such as yourself these days. And I do not agree with the monodominant view on that specifically, and that is quite frankly my biggest issue with them. I do agree that there is only one response to Xenos, there's only one response to heretics, and that is to end them. But I do not agree with their views on Psycho. Anyway, I'm glad that we are able to, if you would, talk this over.
Yes, I did feel that, considering where we are now, I felt it best that any remaining tensions between us in regards to philosophy and ideology should be put to bed.
I agree.
Well, then I shan't keep you any further then.
Thank you. And go with the Emperor's lights.
You as well.
Thank you.
Okay, that's my bit done then.
Cool. Medea, was there anything you wanted to say to or talk to Sister Francesca about? Medea, are you muted?
Hello.
Nope, I don't think.
Nope.
Maybe we are back.
Yeah, she might be. She might be.
It's a slight inconvenience, but can't be helped.
Them's the breaks. Them's the breaks.
Let's give her a couple of minutes at least.
Yeah. Let's give her a couple of minutes. And so, also, I suppose if you have any questions, well, certainly, of course, John can help you with some of the setting
will.
things. But also,
Yes.
I have access to at least the Lathe Worlds, which is the Dark Heresy book, where which is all about tech priests. So there, I should be able to help a bit with that as well.
That sounds like something you might want to talk about before we actually get started on such things as spending XP, because there might
Yes.
be archetypes and so on in that book that could be
Exactly.
of interest.
Yes.
There could be what in the book?
Archetypes.
Are they?
Are the mechanics that
It's
might
called
be
it's called
useful.
it's called alternate ranks,
Yep.
where you can take, let's say when you reach rank 3, you can then say, I want to substitute all the advances I can take on rank 3, and instead I will take this alternate rank, which gives me, that means I'm part of some specific subsect within this organization, and then I'll fulfill a specific purpose or something like that.
There's
I should be interested in that.
There's
Yeah,
a cool
yeah.
example in the book of Judgment, which is all about the investigative characters associated with the Adeptus
I've got
Arbitus,
several
which
in
is-
my books as well, obviously, so I can show
Yeah.
you exactly what it means if you want to, so you are not completely in the dark as to
Yeah,
what it is.
exactly.
Yes,
But
yes.
but yeah, Joan can absolutely help you with some of the
Yes.
the lore parts of
Yes.
the Adeptus mechanics. Welcome back, Medea.
There is Medea. Yay.
So, Medea, was there something you wanted to talk to Sister Francesca about?
Oh, you're done. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
Yeah, I were like, oh, they're gonna have a talk about philosophies. I can make it to the toilet and back.
yes.
That's fine. So yes, you did have something you wanted to talk to Francesca about, as Medea.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, the not disappointing. I was gonna say anticlimactic. I mean,
Yeah,
with everything he actually faced, that was kind of an anticlimactic thing. Like,
yeah, he,
I survived and the communications tower followed me!
yeah.
Hey! Did that kill you? No. Then
Yeah.
what killed you? I fell off the roof.
That is the unfortunate circumstance of a game such as Dark Heresy, where you can die from many different things.
How many
Yes.
pages of...
Anyway, did Medea want to talk to Francesca?
Yeah, sorry. It's just an ironic death, really.
Yes.
Yep.
Anyway, I think a little while after they've had the last talk, while they're getting ready for the whole hoo-ha of leaving, Medea will try to find her somewhere.
Well, that's not difficult.
Go for the biggest woman in a power armor, I guess.
Pretty much.
Indeed.
That's usually a pretty good way of starting.
If she's, of course, wearing it while we're
She
walking
is.
around idly.
She's on a planet that is actively engaged in a civil war. Yeah, you can be pretty certain that she's not going to be out of armor very often.
So basically, she's got to hear her before she sees her.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Well, she will approach her,
Yes.
and if she doesn't have her attention, she'll knock on her armor, because then she
Now,
hears.
she will probably get Francesca's attention pretty quickly and pretty easily.
Hey,
Hello.
can I ask you something?
Of course.
Do you see me as being human?
I see you as being what is known as abhuman. Abhumans, abhuman, and abhumans are, in some cases, seen as an asset, as a benefit within the Imperium. Do you remember when we fought at the barricades? There were these gigantic creatures with absolutely enormous guns. They were dumb as bricks, but incredibly effective in a battle. They're known as ogrins. They are a form of abhuman. And they are accepted within the Imperium because, in their case, they are exceptionally effective warriors. They like to fight, and the Imperial Guard is the perfect place for them because, they can they can crush lesser enemies with frightening ease. There are other types of abhumans that are also accepted, and what it is a form of mutation which is either directly beneficial or at least harmless and stable. What you have is a very minor mutation. It's not something earth-shattering, and you would quite probably be considered by most Imperial institutions, you would be considered an abhuman, which is what I do, and I have no problem with you if that's what you're worried about.
No, it just dawned on me. Never really questioned the human, not human thing before.
No, I don't imagine that doing so is particularly easy.
But I guess I have a lot in common with the Ogren.
Ogrins.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't feel much pain either.
No, and they do like to kill stuff.
They do in fact. You share a very definite talent with them for that, I have to say, and that is another thing that is important in all of this. One of the reasons why what you are is acceptable is because you work for the Inquisition. As long as an Inquisitor says that you are an asset to the Imperium, you are in fact an asset to the Imperium. That is simply the way it is. There's no way around that, because Inquisitors do have the power to do that. The best
Kind
thing
of
that has
scary to know that the only reason I'm useful is because an Inquisitor said it.
perhaps, but it also means that you are remarkably safe. If you had been found in the Underhive by, let's say, the Red Redemption, they would have taken you and the children that you protected so fiercely. They would have beaten you to within an inch of your life. They would have killed the kids outright. And then they would have thrown you up on a pyre and burnt you in front of every single person they could find as an example of what they do to, well, to abhumans and mutants and so on when they find them. And in
Her face changes.
In all likelihood, that would have been your faith, or your faith, no, your fate, obviously. That would have been your fate. Eventually, the Red Redemption seems to catch, well, let's just say they catch a lot. And I am personally happy that that is not the case, because you work for an Inquisitor, and the Red Redemption, consequently, cannot get to you. I'm glad they can't. Whether you believe it or not, I rather like you.
So they'd kill someone without any kinds of defects.
Oh yes.
Just to do that.
They will do so if they believe that those people have been corrupted by the presence of the corrupt. In this case, it would be you. I do not enjoy causing the deaths of innocent. I've done so, we know that. I don't enjoy it. Because from time to time, it's the only thing we can do. That's part of what working for the Inquisition is unfortunately also about. We can't be nice, because the enemy we fight is terrible. We are acolytes, an Inquisitor. And I'll put it this way. Very, very, very few acolytes last as long as we have. Very few. Most of them die within their first or second missions. Because, for the most part, they are in no way ready for what they're going to face. Our very first job, so to say, go for Alvena Iriax, that would not have resulted in success. Quite a lot of other people. It did for us. And you know why?
Because we got lucky.
Because we're good.
She looks thoughtful. Nah, we got lucky.
No, we're good. It's not luck. Because we know what the hell we're doing. Even when we make mistakes, and we do make mistakes. We're good enough.
Well then.
We're good enough to compensate.
Then 3 of us knew what they were doing, and the last one just went along with it then.
You sell yourself far too cheaply there, but I can't stop you from doing that. I just hope that one day you're going to understand why it is I say what I say.
I'm probably not gonna understand it.
Well, You never
But I
know.
won't be able to say for sure.
Exactly.
I don't know.
What is really on your mind? What is actually bothering you deep down right now? Because I kind of tend to think there's something more to this than whether I consider you human or not.
I don't know.
Well, if you find out, you're always welcome to let me know.
The root of the problem is still the Rugrats.
You're still what? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
The root of the problem is still the Rugrats. And if I'm abhuman only tolerated, then why would the Emperor listen to my prayers? At all? It seems futile. I'm gonna go get ready. She turns on her heels and starts walking.
Jessica shakes her head and just, yeah, not much else she can do in that situation.
Okay, cool. So, and then you do get ready for whatever it is
Yep.
you need to do next, which is the siege of Port Hadley.
Yes.
And we'll deal with your interactions with the Lord General and all that next time.
Yes.
And now we're actually coming up on a regular whole hour for the final and third hour of this session. So that's good.
Yay.
That's good. Cool. So let's wrap this up then with. So I'm going to give you 350 today.
350.
350.
We're actually going to choose our path now.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, you
That's
are.
true.
That's
Yes.
very true.
I'm not sure how I can take the fact that you're giving me 3 rappers in
I'm going to take. I'm going to make you hate me. I know.
No, I can't hate you. That's simply not
I
possible.
think you may. I'm going
Grumpy.
to take heavy weapon training multi-melter.
It's good. It's good as long as you're not taking heavy weapon training Pokewumpy or something to that effect. Then we're all good.
Oh no, I
No,
want
you
that.
you can be absolutely certain I shall spare you that.
Good.
But it does mean that I'm now going to expropriate one of the multi-melters that we dragged back there because, you know, doing 4d6 with 12 of damage with 12 points of penetration
Yeah.
seems like a terribly good idea.
Yes. It is. It is absolutely no question about it. So
Of
yeah,
course,
cool.
I'm actually technically. I mean, well, this is actually. This is something you might be interested in addressing in the game as well, because of course, I've advanced a rank. I've chosen my path ages ago, but Akelon's new rank is actually Lieutenant Savant.
Mhm.
So he's actually getting military ranks in this field now.
True.
I don't know if that's something we can even address in game, considering that he is technically part of the Inquisition. He's not actually part of the usual military command structure, but
No, but here's the thing, and I mentioned this way back when we started this game, is that as you guys progress and you rise through the ranks, the Inquisition is going to do a lot of paperwork and create the identities for you. In terms of the level of access you have access to,
That's
and
also why I keep
without blowing covers
using-
and all that.
Yeah, that's why I keep using new titles.
Yeah, and basically the Inquisition is continuously upgrading your clearances and your covers in whichever field of expertise you've chosen, and so on. But we can absolutely also address it in game.
Well, I haven't, because it seems weird using whatever title my advancement gives me.
I think in your case it makes sense not to really.
So I don't actually know what title she has.
Oh.
Acolyte?
Yeah, you are an
The
acolyte.
scummiest scum ever.
Yeah, you are absolutely an acolyte. That's basically what you are within the Inquisition. Until one of you rise from that title and becomes an interrogator or something else.
Yes.
Or maybe even Inquisitor. We'll see.
I think Interrogator will suit Medea
I think-
nicely.
Yes, I think
I
so.
think, Heine, it sounds like that means that you've actually decided to go on with this after we finish the original
that
XP limit.
there is one massive hurdle for me before I press that particular button, but we'll see. Anyway, let's end this recording. And for everyone out there listening, it's been an absolute joy to once again spearhead this, whatever this is, this journey into the 41st millennium. And for the first time in our campaign, we actually had a character death. It happens.
It does.
Weird that in this universe it only happened now.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, our plan is to play again 14 days from now. That is definitely the plan, and we hope to see you then. Until then, bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.